From the roar of the crowd to the roar of the engines, this is Pit Pass.
Here's your host, Ron Fox.
Hello and welcome to Pit Pass.
We're so glad you joined us today.
Before we move on with the show, let's catch up on some recent news in the racing world.
In the words of Adele, rumor has it. Big Diamond Speedway would like to put to rest the rumor that they are closing. They are attempting to work out a difference with their township over a 10% amusement tax. They hope to get this settled in the near future.
The TBRA Late Model Series and Lake Erie Speedway have parted ways after a dispute revolving around tech inspections. The TBRA races scheduled for August 11th and September 1st at Lake Erie Speedway have been canceled, but there are 3 events scheduled at Motordrome Speedway and CMB Raceway Park to finish out the series.
This was another weekend when rain caused many cancellations, but we lucked out by heading to Trailway Speedway and Williams Grove Speedway.
We have highlights of those races coming up. Also, he's trying to make his mark in the world of big league racing. This coming Saturday, Kyle Martell hopes to pull double duty at Pocono Raceway while racing for a good cause. Williams Grove Speedway is synonymous with Friday night racing and 410 sprints. But did you know since 2006, they've had a second night of racing on Saturday?
Yes, it's family night, when children admission is free and adult tickets are $5 each. We went for Kids Night on Saturday, which included bike races, prizes, and candy dropped from a powered trike glider.
Now on to the 20-lap Super Sportsman event. Number 59, Steve Wilbur, led the field to the green from the pole position, but it is the 66 of Leroy Martin who would take the lead before they hit the first turn. The 5 of Dave Berkheimer slips into third behind Wilbur. However, the caution flies after one lap as Brian Gaughan slows on the front stretch. Back underway, Martin pulls away from Wilbur while Frankie Herr in the 99 races Berkheimer for third. In the middle of 1 and 2, Herr slides high and ends up in a 3-way battle with the black 3B of Mike Enders and 64 of Stan Wanner. The black 33 of Scott Giese joins the fray. A lap later, Herr takes second from Wilbur just before Martin begins to slow on the track while leading. Herr now has the lead on the restart. Behind him, Wilbur, Berkheimer, Enders, and Giese contest the runner-up spot as they exit turn 2. Berkheimer takes the position as Giese looks for an opening to clear first Enders, then Wilbur as they enter the third turn. Another caution on lap 4 would bunch the field again, but Herr would jump out to a comfortable lead as Berkheimer and Giese battled for second. Eventually, Giese would take the spot. There was a scary moment on a lap 9 restart. As Wilbur pushes high in turns 1 and 2, the 222 of Jay Fantasy collides with him, sending both cars flipping. Wilbur was unconscious for a few moments. He was transported to the hospital as a precautionary measure. Throughout the second half of the race, Herr continued to lead with Giese in second and Berkheimer maintaining third. 25 Bobby Hockenberry, 30 Scott Dellinger, and 93 Carmen Perigo Jr. would race for the 5th position. Perigo would take the 4th place away from Enders late in the race, going through 3 and 4. Giese could not close on Herr in the closing laps as Frankie Herr goes on to collect his second win of the season.
Okay, Frankie, when you took the lead in the third lap, everyone pretty much considered the race was over for first place.
Yeah, I mean, normally as a point contender each and every year, we normally don't get to start up that far. We had some bad luck last week leading the race, 1 lap to go. We ran out of fuel. I guess there was a little miscommunication on how many laps we needed to operate, but we did run out leading, and that they run like a point, last 4 races on a point average, and our point average was low because of that and a few others, and we got the opportunity to start a little bit further to the front. Running second in points, and you normally don't get to start that far up.
And this race you dedicated to someone special?
He actually got a new job about 3 weeks ago. I'm actually going to help a 410 team, Nicole Bowers. She's from Central Pennsylvania here, local. She had a little problem last night, broke a wheel hub in B main, and she kind of stuffed it in the wall, and I felt for her because it was a very hard crash, and She suffered a concussion and a little bit of whiplash, and she's definitely recuperating at home, and she's been a lot better today than she was last night, and it was a bad deal, but I kind of dedicated. I wanted her to get better because I needed her for my driver.
Following her across the line were Scott Giese, Dave Berkheimer, Carmen Perigo Jr., and Mike Enders. The next feature for the evening was the 20-lap 358 late model race. Perennial favorite Gene Knob had to start last after an accident in his heat race. Wes Alleman in the 80 machine would lead the first lap before the 116 of Travis Meese would take over the spot with this move off of turn 2. By the time the yellow flew on lap 2, Knob had already gained 6 positions. On lap 7, Bobby Beard in the black 81 overtook Alleman for second place as they raced through turns 3 and 4. Just past the halfway point, Knob was up to the 6th spot and gaining on a top 5 position. Meanwhile, Meese had a comfortable lead and only had to contend with lap traffic. Here Knob works on the 12 of Charlie Schaefer for 5th place. Eventually he would pass the 15 of Jared Miller to finish 4th as Travis Meese goes on to a convincing victory.
Well, it didn't take you very long to pass Wes Alleman.
No, ma'am, it didn't. Wes is a good competitor, but he left the outside for me, and that's what I needed for tonight.
Did you know that Bobby Beard was trying desperately to move up into second place, and then he was hoping to win?
I seen him on the scoreboard, but he's a tough competitor too, ma'am.
I hear that you build your cars yourself.
Yes, we buy wrecked cars and fix them and build all our own suspension, everything except for our suspension parts on our cars. Build our own bodies and just about everything we can. It's the only way we can race, so we have to do everything we can to save as much money as possible.
How many times have you won this season?
This is my first one this year.
Excellent, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Gene, you were one of those that was favored to win, but you got caught up in an accident in the heat.
Yes, we got a little incident in the heat race, and you know, I had to start dead last in the field and was fortunate enough to run very good in the feature, made it up to the 4th place. You know, kind of looking for a couple yellows, and the yellows really didn't come our way. I think we had the fastest race car on the track, but you know, we had a good night, ended up 4th.
So it's Travis Meese, the winner in the 358 late models. Bobby Beard held off Wes Alleman for second place, with Gene Knob finishing 4th after starting dead last in 25th, and Jared Miller came home 5th. And in the street stocks, Sam Ryle, who started 10th, made a last lap pass of David Walsh to take the checkers.
Very shortly before the races began, an ominous-looking storm moved in. The winds kicked up and hail fell on nearby towns. Spectators headed for their cars to wait out the storm. Very shortly, though, the skies cleared, and they made a wise decision in not canceling the night's events.
It's always good to make a trip to the legendary track. Now coming up next on Pit Pass, we meet Kyle Martell before he heads to Pocono Raceway. That and more when Pit Pass returns.
When you think golf carts, think Jake's Custom Golf Carts. With over 300 stock and lifted carts at their shop, you'll find the cart you need or have Jake's build one to your specs. Custom airbrushing, lift kits, sport shifters, rear seats. You name it, with the expertise and craftsmanship people have come to expect from Jake's. Come see for yourself why Jake's is the nation's premier golf cart provider. Jake's Golf Carts, Route 522 McVeigh Town. Online at jakesgolfcarts.com.